Hey, welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man. And hey, thank you for joining Let's Talk Nation tonight. We have a special treat for you. And y'all know, usually you see this co-host in a window, but now you're seeing him tonight in the studio, Doc for Life. Yeah, to fly in. Hey, but also you're in for another treat because we have. Oh, Doc, let me let you get your commentary first. Hey, Doc is in the studio. He's not too often in the studio. So, what you want to say to the audience before I introduce our special guest with us tonight?
Well, nothing, believe it or not.
Nah, that is not you. That is not you.
We'll talk on the show. I came down because my buddy here, the man that has kept me connected to the radio. We've been friends for
I know.
long time.
When I think about that, it's been
Drug me over to Inspiration Radio Network, his network, and stuff. Had me flipping out and cussing folks out and fighting with the city.
Hold on, wait a minute. Wait, hold up.
Going to the extreme.
Since he's gonna take it there, he might as well do the introduction. So go ahead and lay it out.
So this is a legend in Orlando. Man, Steve has been around. I told him, I say, me and you about the only two that know where all the bodies are still buried. But this has been a pioneer in Orlando, a person who has had their finger on the pulse of the city and especially our community for a long time. He has championed numerous causes. I'm a big fan of him and his wife, and they are salt of the earth people. They are always out serving the community. They've been like that. They just are gracious people. And I'm proud to call you my friend, Mr. Steve January.
All right.
Well, I appreciate
it. Where those applause at?
Well, I appreciate it, man. Really...
So Steve, man, welcome to Let's Talk Nation. And I'm going to go ahead and say this, and this might sound corny.
Okay.
But, after I moved to Orlando, and anybody who's familiar with, the calendar, after December comes what?
January.
hey.
Yeah, I have my own month now.
You got your own month.
I have my own month. My birthday is up to January.
Okay.
Yeah.
But man, I tell you, on a serious note, when I moved to Orlando, and I wasn't even thinking about anything relative to being in this business at all. But I heard your name. Because folk were talking about, hey, if you are in this town and you need to know people, you need to know what's happening, you need to know how to get around, the person you need to see is Steve January. And I didn't know about your being a pioneer in this business. Mm-hmm. And then, Doc started having more conversation, and you and your wife joined us, was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. And you came into the studio and you said, wow, I like this. But then, hey, you know what? And Attorney Greg Jackson, the general, for those of you, the general's on special assignment right now. So he will be back. But we love what we call iron sharpening iron. And you had a critique of the studio.
Right.
And a week later, or 2 weeks later,
hey, look,
we fixed that critique.
We remodeling everything.
we remodel. And for those of you who are in the listening and the viewing audience, and you hear this sound coming in even crispier than it's ever had before, you got to thank Steve January for that. You got to thank him for that. And we thank you for the expense of that as well. But it was sure worth it, man.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to joining your team.
Well, man, and we looking forward to having you. But you know what, Doc, I'm gonna let you segue in a little bit. Oh, you know what? Let me back up, because we're gonna have Steve with us for the entirety of this hour. But I'm learning how to do this monologue thing, so y'all hang with me one time.
Okay, go ahead.
But tonight we're gonna cut through the noise and getting straight to what matters. Right now, we're watching major legal action against companies like Meta, Facebook, and Instagram because of how much power they've accumulated. That's not just a tech issue, that's a community issue, because when a few platforms control what people see, they also influence what people think and what they believe, and ultimately how they move. Mm-hmm. And that takes me to something that Steve January said when he was in here a couple of weeks ago. He said, man, ain't nobody talking about the things you guys are talking about in Central Florida. And he was even a little bit more specific than that, but I'll pass the baton later. But let's be real. Our community is feeling the effects. Politically, we're reacting instead of organizing. Economically, too many of us are still locked out of ownership and real opportunities. Culturally, our narrative still is too often shaped by somebody's outside culture. And in our communities, we've got good programs, but not enough alignment or coordination to move the needle. That's where Let's Talk Nation steps in. Doc, you've been the executive producer, man, 7.5 years now. We've been in operation 8 years. You jumped right in, man, and you've taken the bull by the horn, and you've done what it has taken for us to move the needle to the next step.
Well, I know the power of media, okay, and I understand it. I understand the freedom that it can bring to a community, the voice, and the change that it can do. So when y'all wanted to do this, I was all in. You didn't have to sell me because I knew the transformative power of what you were doing. So
You knew the assignment, and see, you get me on the phone. Steve, he'll get me on the phone like 10:30, 11 o'clock when I'm trying to wind down. And
That's Terry.
He'll start, yeah,
That's
that's
him.
Terry. He'll
That's
start a
him.
conversation that's going to last another hour.
Hour, yep.
But you know what? Here's where I'm going to say God put people in your path for a
Yes,
reason,
that's true.
because this platform isn't just talk. It's about connecting information to action. It's about making sure people understand how power works,
yeah,
where the money flows, and how we need to position ourselves. But you know, Steve, when you came in here 2 weeks ago, you said one thing. You said, "Man, I love this," and I'm gonna be, if you don't mind, I'm gonna be even more specific. You said the black community, it needs this.
That's right. The black community do.
It needs this, and you know, we're not gonna sit up here like we oftentimes see that other people designate who's gonna be the spokesperson for Black America.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to do that, but what we're trying to do is provide an opportunity. But Steve, let me ask you, man. You've been around. I mean, just as Doc said, you've been a pioneer, man. You've already cut your teeth on this.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as it relates to Let's Talk Nation and what it can bring to community?
Oh wow. It can bring a lot. It can bring information and education. When it comes to information, I can see what Let's Talk Nation have been like a news station 7 days a week, giving news that the community really needs. Okay, there are a lot of things going on in Orlando that news stations don't cover. It's time out for all the negativity, and that's bringing some positive news, and that's up our young people. You start bringing positive news, and you start educating the community on a lot of things, like this thing with social media and all. Okay, our black community need to be educated more about the social media and the real deal about it. When it comes to education for our young people, take off all the negative stuff. Let's start educating and highlighting our young people. That way they get motivated now to inspire, to encourage themselves to be more. That's not happening.
That's not happening. Let me ask you the $1 million question. And Doc, I appreciate you chiming in on this. I'm going to go back to Deion Sanders. I'm going to go to the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah.
You know, when they were playing games last season, a lot of those teams that went in and beat them.
Yep.
And I like Deion, believe me. I love Deion Sanders. He's motivational. He's inspirational. But what a lot of those other teams said was that the Buffaloes were playing for clicks and not victories. When we talk about positive versus negative, it's sad to say that negativity gets more clicks than when you see somebody doing good in the community, see somebody excelling, looking at outcomes. So either one of you.
It's funny that you say that, because that's exactly what's got Meta in trouble right now. Because what they're doing with their algorithm and social media is they're rewarding those posts that creates that controversy, because people travel. And that's part of the lawsuit and the issue with the young people, because they are using those stories or angles to really get those clicks. It's like this past weekend, the Erica Kirk thing, right, with Drewski.
Yeah.
Homeboy put it out Saturday afternoon. It's already at 180 million clicks as of this morning. Okay. Now, the thing about it, he never says anybody's name, but immediately people got upset, and it's like been this big brouhaha all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now think of it in the context of the bullying that goes on with kids.
Mm,
The same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Meta is pushing certain and allowing certain behavior on their platforms that encourages that. The kids follow that. Okay. School fights. You see guns on Facebook all the time. You see fights on Instagram all the time.
That's true.
So I know, but I know you don't have a quick fix, because if any one of us did have it, we'd certainly be out there doing it right now. But how would you take?
Well, the quick fix I would think, Brother Love, is that it goes back still to the home, the parents.
Yeah.
We have to monitor our kids more and more. Okay. When I do see Facebook, I'm seeing always negative things. I'm seeing fights. And what hurts me so much sometimes, I see our young ladies. Okay,
Yeah.
let me be honest. I'm being real about it.
Yeah.
This is me.
Yeah.
I see the young ladies out there fighting,
Mhm.
not the men. And that really hurts. It's like, what has happened? And with social media, I mean, this thing is well, it's, to me, it's not really like social media to me. It's like, I can't use the word, and God forgive me, I'm not going to use the word.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's crazy, man. And then you got kids on here, you know, they're killing each other. Then they're laughing about it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right.
Until you see them crying
Yeah.
in somebody's courtroom.
Yeah.
But you know what? When you talk about the fact that it comes down to what takes place in the home, parents, Doc, I'm gonna pass the baton, because you did a good job of when you saying mama's 16 and grandmama's 30-something, 32. So so you know, there's a breakdown here.
Yeah.
I don't care what I mean. So how do you get your arms around this when, you know, I look back, my mom, you know, was, I don't know, late 20s or in the 30s when I arrived on the scene, and me and my siblings, grandmama was in her 50s or 60s. So, well, how do you deal with this generational deal where you have kids raising kids?
Well, listen to what you're saying. You're saying mamas and grandmamas. You need to say nothing about the dads.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
See, half of the households now in America, there's no male figure there.
Mhm.
You're going deep now, brother.
Yeah, there's no male figure there. When I was coming up, my dad was in the military, but I had male figures like Willie J. Bruton, Mr. Eddie Sherrod.
You had a village there.
right. I was around men.
Yeah.
Okay. And now our brothers are absent from the home. So you got these moms raising boys, and these boys turn out to be mama boys.
Yeah, not me.
Okay, let me
Right.
stop.
So
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop.
and you-
Terry.
no,
I call them extra large boys.
Yeah,
They're not
you know,
men,
so-
they're extra large boys.
So that's the problem,
Yeah.
Brother Love, is that men have to step to the plate. The women have to come together. Hey, you got a child by him or whatever. Y'all got to learn to deal with that. And the man needs to be around more and more and more. Because, see, grandmama, she's still going back to the old days on things.
Yeah,
Things have changed now, man.
you're right.
And one thing that I have noticed is that young men under 40 tend to be very emotionally immature. They don't know how to deal with controversy or conflict. They try to stand up there and argue with a woman.
Yeah.
But
No
you saying
respect.
that, Doc, and for those of you who are tuned in to Let's Talk Nation, this is how we get on. We have real conversations. And Doc, based on what you're saying, and Steve, I'm glad you brought up the fact that, you know, first we talked about the village. Then we talked about the home. We talked about parenting. Then we drilled down, and now we're talking about fathers, men, in comparison versus boys. But you also said something else about how they mama boys and things of nature. But here's something both of you have missed so far.
Okay.
The fact that, and we get this from Dr. Randy Nelson, who
Mhm.
is a renowned scientist and highly sought after. And Doc and I, we have the honor and privilege of saying Dr. Nelson's been a good friend, and that's how we get this tutelage. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at empirical data, you got a higher percentage of single-headed households that are headed by females raising these mama
Right.
boys that you call them.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, how are they expected to understand what the journey towards manhood is supposed to look like? Because I will say this, um, my mom did a great job with me and my three brothers.
Hmm.
She taught us how to be responsible. She taught us how to be compassionate. She taught us a number of things. But the one thing my mom, and I say this with all due respect, could never teach us how to be is how to be men. My sister,
Okay.
she was on point.
Hmm.
And so I don't offer any excuses for that. But I tell you what, there was a lot of neighborhood guys who filled the gap when my mom and dad divorced.
Hmm.
And I know somebody might be
Well,
out there
now-
saying, where was your dad?
But where are the neighborhood guys?
Where the
Them
neighborhood
them-
guys?
Them, guys
Mhm.
ain't there no more.
No, no.
You know, they
Mhm.
they say, hey, don't come out. You ain't got no business out here. This ain't for you.
Will you? Yeah.
Yeah.
They will steer you
Yeah.
away from that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But those guys now, they say, hey, come with me. Come, let's go get this lick.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's a different mindset.
It really it is.
It's
It
the
really
get
is.
over
It
mindset.
really is.
And so you don't have anybody cautioning you or restricting you or giving you the other side of the coin. So
Yeah.
everything is go, go, go.
But there's a communities of care model that's evidence based. That communities of care model take four domains. One of them is education. One of them is community. The other one is family. We are hitting on, and I can't remember the fourth one right now, but we're hitting on two of the four when you talk about family and community.
Mhm.
That is something that we need to be able to get our arms around. And then when you say family and community, we got to think about faith organizations that have always been there, no matter how high you go
Mhm.
and no matter how far you fall, they have been there. Doc, I know your position. But what I'm saying is these institutions. hey,
You felt you felt it right on this side. It was right here. You felt it. You felt it coming over
hey,
there.
hey, man, I know. I mean, that's my boy right there. And I know, Doc. Go ahead. I surrender. Go ahead.
Listen. This is what I always say. Now, y'all know I'm a true man of God. That is me through and through. But I also understand that the way that the black church has become now, it's not in a place where it used to be. You had a sound church before with a simple message. Now you have a performance church with a different message. It's not.
I disagree to a point.
It's not the gospel of grandmama.
Now there's some churches, bro, that have the gospel of grandma.
I know, but
You got
those
those.
are what they hard to find, ain't they? Because
Yes,
they ain't got the lights
they
and
hard,
the mirror.
right?
I'm not.
They hard
knocking.
to find because this generation now are used now to the lights and all of that, and you
Mhm.
know, where to this generation, that's what they like. When I was coming up, lights, what?
Yeah.
The spirit,
But
the
they
true
don't-
spirit.
But,
But see,
but listen, they are going for the aesthetics,
mhm.
and you have to have the word. That
You
word is
gotta have the word.
foundation.
Yeah.
And if the foundation isn't being learned, okay, that I'm working on a book called Microwave Jesus,
Oh boy.
and it's about how the faith has now become this instant gratification system
Want it
and
now.
motivational
Mhm.
tool, and they want it right now. When God doesn't answer their prayer right away, it's like they clicking for likes. God, where's my favor? God, where's my blessing? And we can't approach our faith like that because faith is slow. Faith is a marathon.
Yeah.
It's not a sprint.
Well, you know what though, Steve, I love that little, because I was about to say, okay, you know, I love that little bout with Mike Tyson and Ali, because that's what this show is all about. We're gonna sharpen each other, and Doc and I, just like you say, well, I respectfully disagree. That's me. That's usually me with Doc with
Yeah.
this, and you know, I got to tell you, and we that's my brother, but iron sharpen iron, and I also believe that you're right,
Mhm.
in a great respect, but we can't condemn, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
You can find them out there, but we can't condemn all of the faith
It's not
community.
condemnation. What I'm saying is, see, my point of view is when you see a problem and you know it's a problem, you fix a problem. You
Mhm.
don't pretend like it's not there. What I'm saying is there's enough evidence based. See, me and you both
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
evidence based
yeah.
and empirical data to look at the church with a not a judgment eye, but a real eye of understanding where it's at and where it's not at, and saying that truthfully. I don't want to see the church destroyed. I'm not against the church. What I'm saying, if you're gonna do church, do it right.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying, because you are in charge of people's souls. If you're a leader,
Mhm.
you're leading them somewhere.
Well, see, the black church have changed because we go to these white churches, these white conferences, and what they're doing. I had to go there. I'm sorry. Had to go.
Listen.
Okay. And I've noticed that with me being around ministry for so long with
Mhm.
radio, I have seen that where you go to these conferences, you come back, you're doing what they're doing. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Keep your people like, just be real. What's going to bring people to your church is your word and how you're going to really teach the Bible. They've gotten away from that. Which still goes back to the point of what's going on today in our world. Even like with single moms,
Mhm.
okay, they reach out more to the pastors than anything. And now you have women pastors who are really out there doing good things.
Mhm.
Women pastors who are married
Mhm.
and is really mentoring women in their church,
Mhm.
okay, and they're trying to show that family unit. And you do have some good pastors out there that's doing the same thing, trying to
Mhm.
show that family unit. So what has happened is that with some, not all, just with some, they've gotten away because when they go to these conferences, they're coming back with a whole different mindset. And I've noticed that.
Yeah,
About life.
and now they want to
and
be
bringing it to the black community.
they want to be CEOs.
That's something different, man.
They want to be
Wanna be
CEOs
Yeah.
and heads of business.
Yeah.
And the church is not a business. As much as we want to say about the lights and all of that, the first duty of a church is to save souls.
And then the second, it turned into a business because you need finance to run that church.
You're right. You're right.
That's true. But
need the
you
finance to run the
teach,
church.
but you see, if I was running the church, I'd never be a pastor. Okay. My thing would be to go to the people and say, look, we want this building. We have this responsibility every month. Here's what the bills are. We need giving that coincides with that. Okay. To help. We need to fundraise and all of that. I would not resort, and I'm not saying a lot of churches do this, but I've been in conferences and events where they say, oh, we got $1,000 line over here if you want a special blessing for your
Mhm.
building, for your ministry and all of this. It's $10,000 line and come on, hurry. I've seen big names do this.
Mhm.
Okay. That's problematic for me.
But you know what? But, go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry.
Because it's about salvation. It's not about the building. And what does it say about your faith if you have to con people out their money? Don't you trust God to build your church, to reach the people? God knows the minister's heart. If your heart is true and genuine, God is going to provide. I have no area of my life personally where the things that God wanted me to have and I needed to get done, that he hasn't provided. It's about faith. That's what faith is.
You're right, Doc. But one of the things that you said, Steve, that I got to go back on, based on what people are looking at, and you mentioned that people are looking at pastors and them basically giving their word. I think the word that I'm looking for is people are looking at the level of authenticity, because a lot of times, and Doc, you mentioned it earlier, and I hate to say it this way, but some of it is performance.
Yeah.
When people are looking at, are you real in terms of what you're saying to them? And it comes back down to that authenticity of when you go to the faith community, And see, those of you who are tuned in to Let's Talk Nation, if you want to join in on this conversation, you're more than welcome. The only thing that we ask is that you be respectful in joining this conversation. If you want to dial in, that phone number is area code 407-921-6195. Once again, that number is 407-921-6195. But back to the conversation. You know, every word that both of you are saying, I think is going to help people. But the other piece of this too is, and I respect those faith organizations that want to completely stay out of politics. I respect them and understand. But you know, a lot of things that are affecting us today are things that are external to church. A lot of the policies that are going into effect, the population, and I keep hearing it time and time again, of the African American community is saying, why are we voting when our vote don't matter?
But it does. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't be trying so hard to take it from you.
You're right. You're right.
Well, plus when you don't vote, that's still a vote.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Still a vote.
And I say that in respect to the fact that, again, I respect churches that don't get involved in politics. I respect that. But at the same time, I do believe that congregate members do need to know what's happening to them external the church. I mean, if nothing else but to say, hey, for those of you, we don't want to know your party affiliation. We don't need to know any of that. But what we want to say to you is sharpen up, research the candidates that you're voting for, because it impacts and affects your community. And one other note I'm going to add to this is some of these churches that we're very familiar with that are in what I would call communities that the dirt don't cost as much as it costs in those communities that got these big mansions. So these churches can continue to build and add on and grow. But then if you look at the membership don't live in that community. And so these are some of the things that we need to have more dialogue and discussions about, because it's about making progress, not holding anybody back.
And it's good that you say that, because as I said earlier, with this program, with this show, once again, it's about educating.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And for far too long, we've been miseducated. Look at the thing with Nick Cannon this weekend. I don't know if y'all followed that. Nick Cannon gets on social media and he blows up and tells the world that the Democrats are the party of the KKK, and he doesn't believe in the Democrats. He's going to stay Republican and all of this, that. And of course, people were livid because he didn't do his research. See, you don't just pop off. Know what you're popping off about.
Yeah.
So he doesn't understand the party realignment that took place from the 40s to the 60s. And in fact, that the Republicans that are now in the Republican Party, I mean, the Democrats that were Democrats then, when the Civil Rights Act of 1967 was passed, they fled the Democratic Party and went to the Republican Party. So those racists that were there, remember the Dixiecrats and all of that, they went in mass and signed up as Republicans. And so the party's inverted. So the Democrats did at that time, okay, 100 and something years ago, they were the party of the Klan, but that's not who we have now. Now, I'm not saying that absolved the current Democrats of not being racist, but it's less about the intentional things that we are seeing perceived by Republicans now. I don't want to say that all Republicans are racist, because that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that the tendency for that side to do things that limit our growth or try to push us back, like killing DEI and things like that, and making us the face of every social problem in America, that's a problem, because we're not.
Well, two things that I want to point out is when you said Nick Cannon represents to me an entertainer. I mean, that's all I'm gonna give him credit for.
But he's an influencer.
You're right. He is.
His
But Doc, you say he's an influencer. Here's one of the things I want to say about this influencer, and I'm not gonna judge. And Steve already know where I'm gonna go with this. But we're talking about family unit. We're talking about village. We're talking about being, in essence, a responsible father. You talking about the same Nick Cannon that got about 13 children from I don't know how many women, and he is on a mission to populate America. I mean, is that the same Nick Cannon you talking about?
That's the same
Okay,
one.
all right. So let's put it in.
But
Even our
but
even our
listen,
sound engineer had to laugh at that one.
but and Mondo is in that demographic, and he can tell you how much influence this boy got.
Okay.
And so it's not a harmless remark out of his mouth.
You are absolutely correct. See, this is where me and Doc start fighting. You are absolutely correct. And when I say fighting, I love the brother. But okay, I understand that. But this is the same. I mean, maybe I can't get past.
He's not setting no kind of example.
Yeah.
But
example,
to us,
family
but to
example.
us as men
Mhm.
at our age, we see him for the little idiot that he is. Okay.
But you're talking about the ones that
the ones that actually follow him and go and watch Wild and Out, that go to these sold out shows that he have. He got Country Wayne them on. He got Carlos Miller, 85 South, all of these.
85 South.
Yeah,
What happened to 95 South?
Not 85 South is a group of comedians.
But what you gotta understand, though, once again, here's media.
Mm-hmm.
He is backed by certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's make it that he's making money for.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm writing your check.
Mm-hmm.
You do what I say do.
Yeah, I get your point.
If not, we're gonna pull the show or do what we gotta do.
We're gonna Kanye you.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
We're gonna
and that's how
Kanye you.
entertainment works with our black people, our black entertainers.
As long as you and I have been around.
For an example, look at Bill Cosby. Okay, can I go there just for 1 minute?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why Bill is in the trouble that he's in is because he was going to buy
NBC.
So, in order to stop, because the deal was going to go through, so they kept holding up Bill. They kept saying, wait. But on the back end, they was trying to get something on Bill. And all this stuff. If you really think about it and do your research with that whole thing about him, it's all because of NBC. He was going to buy the network. It was up for sale. They was about to go bankrupt.
And that's one thing I didn't know. I didn't know.
He had all the money. Yeah. He had all his money lined up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So they got all these
but here's the interesting thing. I mean, and this is some good dialogue and conversation. Our synergy, our ability to generate revenue, and Doc, you used to say this a lot when we first started out. We don't produce anything. I mean, I don't want that to be the catch-all, but when you're just a consumer, you don't have a lot of power.
Right.
And when you talk about what Bill Cosby was attempting to do, and this is my first time, I'm sorry, I try to keep myself educated, but it makes sense. Who was the guy? Byron Allen.
He just sold all his TV stations.
See, we got to get him in here for him to update us, because I was about to use him as an example about what he's been doing.
Yeah, he's doing so most of all his stations.
I think he got tired because they fought that brother.
I don't think he got tired.
What?
I think it's more, once again, you gotta stop doing all this. When you think about everything that's happening in Black America right now today, it's because of one man sitting up and
But you know what? Here's something that I'm gonna respond to, Doc, and it falls back on something that you said, and you gave a good history as you talked about Black folk leaving the Democratic Party, going to the Republican Party, and now they're back to the. Here's the thing I often have a conversation about, and y'all go ahead and like your girl was talking about the math ain't mathing. I can't remember who that was, but I'll still stand on this. When I look at white America and the fact that white America, when there's somebody else in the White House, they don't go hungry based on party affiliation with it changing up in the White House. When you look at Hispanic America, they don't go hungry because there's a change in the White House. When you look at Asian America, they don't go hungry because there's a change in the White House. But when you look at African Americans, when you look at the fact that identify, and and this is not going to change in my lifetime, but I'm seeing this younger generation being a little bit more responsive to this topic. And even though their response to it is becoming independence, which I still say that's not a fix all, but if you're a party, if you're a population of people where the majority of you are gravitating to one party, to me, I mean, I might go even as far as to say terrible business plan. But how can you expect to have any leverage, gravity, and be able to influence those that are making policy decisions about how you are impacted and affected? If you don't have the numbers, why would, and I know from a morality standpoint, both of you gentlemen would sit up here and say, well, if you're a politician, you should care about others. Well, if you're a politician and your district is this little triangle and you got to cater to the people that's in your district, and you're saying, here is a population that support me and here's a population that don't. Come on.
Well, listen, it's like I always talk about, Rod. I say, nobody respects beggars. And what I mean by that statement is that when you don't own anything, when you don't have any influence, when you have no power, your requests don't carry
fall
any
on
weight.
deaf ears. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because you're asking me for something, but you're not giving me anything, and you have nothing of value that I need. So I don't have to pay attention to you.
But the same can go toward when you see candidates. I remember when they used to, and I'm sorry, Doc, but when you get me excited about this stuff because this is my wheelhouse. It used to be a time where we used to see politicians go to the black church early and often. Now you see an election, and the general, Attorney Greg Jackson, talks about it often. You show up 30 days, maybe 45 days before an election, and you might put one person out there on the street to deliver your message. And what we've seen in years gone past, even the Hispanic community start funding their outreach a year in advance. But you come to the black community in 30 days, 45 days.
Instead of paying everybody, I go to one pseudo leader, get him $5,000, and then have him tell everybody to vote for me. So again, why do I have to owe you anything?
Yeah. Well,
you're giving me for free, you're giving me your support because you listen to Leroy or Ed that I paid $5,000 to. You see, remember, you weren't there, but when Charlie Chris came, he pulled that. And this was over at, what's the guy's name over on Orange Center? Chef Eddie, his restaurant. Charlie Chris met with the Democratic Leadership Party here. I was over there.
But you know what?
And I asked them, well, where's the money for us to get out here and do all this?
You did something a lot of people don't do.
And I was at the table with Rucker.
Don't go.
But I was at there with him and somebody else. And I said, well, did y'all ask him? And they said, no, we ain't got to that yet. I was like, man, I don't want to hear this crap. I got up and left because my thing is, I'm a business person. It's transactional to me. You want me to get out there and do something? I'm not doing it for free. And I'm going to tell you that.
I used to love when politicians come around, they come to the church and they give their spiel until I woke up and realized we need to stop doing this. Now, you come during election time. After election, we don't see nobody. If they will start coming when they start worshiping with the black community, then they can understand a little bit more. But these guys and women, they don't understand the black community.
We don't own anything. We as a community hold no economic power other than what we can spend.
But whose fault is it?
It's our fault.
Thank you.
It's our fault because we value it's like when I was a kid, it used to be this thing about I'm gonna move out the hood and go out there and Dr. Phillips. Oh, everybody wanted to move to Dr. Phillips. And I made a mention to somebody. I said, if the same people that's here all were able to move out to Dr. Phillips, then Dr. Phillips will look like here. Because it's not about location, it's about mindset.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? Steve said something that I don't want to overlook. He said, "Whose fault is it?" And we don't gloss over that. It is our fault.
Look at the black businesses in Washington Shores, Brother Love. When I was coming up, everything in Washington Shores was black owned. Everything on Church Street, black owned. Paramore, black owned.
How many times I done told you? I tell them that all the time.
So,
doctors, lawyers, dentists.
We had it all.
Yeah. The movie theater.
You had the Carver, you had Carver Theater. And it's gone because the black community did not fight hard enough to keep this going.
Well, I'm gonna even go out a step further, Steve.
Okay.
You know, when we talk about whose fault is it, and then you mentioned that black community didn't fight hard enough. Man, I'm looking at our black leaders. I'm looking at what camera over here. Our black leaders today, and I'm not gonna go calling names, but man, it's a crying shame that it's about a popularity contest. When you look at Orlando and you look at opportunities and lack thereof, and you look at our leadership that we got in place, let me say this, and I'm gonna just break this down very, very elementary. People say, well, why black folk can't say what they're gonna do for the black community when they're leading up to be elected. I'm gonna tell you why they can't do that. They can't do that because for the most part, you don't want to lose the people that are actually voting for you. And if you look at the supervisory election data, a lot of black folks don't get into office based on black votes. The numbers aren't there. Plus, you got a lot of black folk that don't go to vote. And so I get why you don't say what you're going to do for black folk when you get in office. But when you get in office, like you're doing for everybody, do something for people that look like you too. And what I mean by when I say that, I'm not saying go and try to enact some quota. No, that's not what I'm saying. But there's a lot of black folk out there on their own merit and competencies that deserve to be in the room. That's our biggest complaint, is not getting in the room. But then we got black folk that are
now, and I'm going to take you back to 4 years ago. What did we do? What did we do over in the park?
Oh, we had are you talking about the task force, or which one? Because we did a lot of things. We
went over there and held a meeting. Okay, we did a film.
Oh yeah.
And everything about that community. Had potential investors who are going to bring in development in South Apopka. Went around, told the whole community. The whole community had the churches telling all the people. Now the people knew that this meeting was going to come. See, 13 people showed up.
Wow.
So if you won't show up for what you need, why should I be concerned about what you don't have?
Yeah.
Because you're not participating. I don't know what you need. Okay? And we've got to get our community past that. Come up and speak out. If you want something, then y'all need to get together and demand it.
Well, and then the reason why is because some of them are saying, well, they're not going to do anything. It's going to be the same.
No, because the young people are not taking that.
No, I'm gonna tell you, this generation has changed.
Yeah.
If this generation was back when we was coming up, I don't know.
They are not standing for it.
Yeah, they're not. See, we took a lot back in the civil rights days. We took a lot.
What their biggest barrier is? People my age won't get out the way. Look at all these. Look at Maxine Waters, 87 years old, trying to run for re-election.
It used to be a time where it was building a bench. It was grooming people to take your place. But then we see elected folk in Congress and at other levels that they want to die in office. But you know what? Y'all remember Greek mythology. You remember Caesar. You remember what happened to Caesar in the chamber? They viewed Caesar as this dictator.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you know what? It's time for him to go. And even when they started putting that sword in him, they told all the other members in the Senate, he gone, but y'all better stick your sword in him too, because you're part of this. And it shouldn't be whereby you got to have folk kind of flip on you to say it's time for you to go. That's number one. But I wasn't planning on doing this, but this seems like a really apropos moment to do this. Steve, we invited you here, man, because you've been a trailblazer. You understand this business. Um, the General Attorney Greg Jackson, myself, Doc Polite, Armando, our sound engineer, has been with us day one. We did this, man, because it was an assignment that we realized. We didn't know, they say if you want to hear God laugh, tell him what your plan. This wasn't our plan.
Mm.
But 2 weeks ago, you and your wife came into the studio. Orange County has added 2 additional district seats to Orange County government for commission seats. Your wife is running for one of those seats.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this I didn't plan, Doc,
Mhm.
but when we talk about accountability, when we talk about leadership, when we talk about what the community needs, and here's why I've been holding, and not that I'm popular or this or that, but I've had folk over the last few months asking for my support and endorsement. I've been holding it because here's something that I realized having sat on the dais
Mhm.
when I was appointed as an Orange County commissioner. When you're on that dais, you naked by yourself in the decisions that you're making, and you got to stand behind those decisions.
Mhm.
But the other thing that you do have is a voice. And when there was this issue about raising property taxes to create a Orange County Children's Fund,
Mm-hmm.
I stood naked on that dais because I was being encouraged by a number of people to make the motion to open the discussion. Instead, I asked Orange County staff, what are we doing with the almost $100 million of taxpayer money that we're already getting?
Mm.
Thus, we didn't raise taxes. We put additional $20 million, and that $20 million is Orange County wide, but it's targeting areas that you got 48 zip codes in Orange County. Of the 48, 7 zip codes, and a lot of people don't know this stuff,
Mhm.
7 zip codes getting 70% of your juvenile delinquency, child welfare, calls for service from law enforcement. Think about that. So it would merit putting more of your resources in the areas that you need it the most. I'm coming full circle. I've known your wife, man, I think I met her when she was a legislative aide
Mm-hmm.
for Sipling, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was always dutiful when it came to her care, her concern, her competencies, knowing how to navigate the policy and the appropriation. Back then, I was a government worker. I wasn't as astute in the policy and appropriation practices. Your wife was miles ahead in these issues. Now she's running for office.
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you, and I haven't endorsed anybody yet, but I'm going to tell you why I like your wife for that position. It's because she came in this studio, Doc, and
Yeah.
you were producing the show. She told people why she deserved to be there.
Mhm.
She started hitting on some concrete points about the need in that district. But something else she talked about that just moved me. And you asked her the question. Say, how did you arrive to this point where you decided to run for office? And she brought it home. She said, that was a family decision. That was so Steve, I say all that to say this, man. I am impressed. We're sitting up here thinking about the conversation we're having here today.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about the level of accountability. I'm tired of the malpractice. And I mean, I believe government has a space and a place in people's lives. But I do believe we don't hear what we used to hear where government officials or people running for office, they tell you, I want to keep government out your life. I want small government, but I want, at the end of the day, I want some outcomes from government. I know privatization is a bad word when you talk about Democrats. So I'm going to use outsourcing as a better word. And I ain't getting caught up in the party, this, that, another. Because we don't care about parties when it improves the quality of our lives. But I heard your wife start speaking some things into existence, and she's not even there yet.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll say to you is whatever's going on, man, that's developing this synergy and energy in your household. Because I know it's a sacrifice. When I was in office, my wife would be like, man, your daughters are, my daughter was one in high school, one in junior high. She's like, your kids see you when you leaving out the door in the morning, beating them out of the door, and she would tell me, "Hey, hit this one need to talk to you. That one, and I got girls, man. So you got to spend that time.
Yeah, yeah. One boy and the rest of girls. Yeah,
But it's a sacrifice.
Yes,
I know
it
it's a
is.
sacrifice.
It is.
I'm impressed with what I heard. I'm impressed with what I know. What I will say to you is, Let's Talk Nation. Let's Talk Nation is about the business, and Doc, we said this from day one. We're about outcomes. Your wife, man, has been saying some things and doing some things, man, that are making people raise their eyebrows. What I'm looking for is an individual that's going to sit on that dais and be unafraid. And what people don't realize, when you get people on the dais, you can't say, okay, you're there now, go do your job. That's only one vote. Steve, you got Let's Talk Nation, man, as a support mechanism.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
See, what Shannon Curry is more like, when we met, it was just like, we was going through some things. But what I noticed about Shannon, she do have a heart, okay? And then what she noticed about me, I have a heart.
Too hard.
Too, okay? And then with the kids, good kids, they grown now, all but one. The one is that who goes to Bethune.
Y'all got a Wildcat in there?
Political science.
Okay.
Political science major. So, but Shannon, she has the first Black girls volleyball team in Orlando.
I did not know that until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, AAU. She has worked hard in developing that team. And also, my daughter Cameron, who went to Virginia Union, played volleyball on a scholarship. She's with her mom.
Okay.
So they have developed this team, and now it's shocked. I went to the game, like, how many teams do we have now? She said, babe, we got almost 3 teams now. We only had just one team, and it's been a struggle.
How have y'all been doing this from a community perspective? What supports do you get?
Parents.
Oh, okay.
By parents, paying a little money, whatever, and they're not really paying that much because Shannon Hart is into volleyball and showing the community that, hey, it's not about basketball all the time or football all the time. There are other sports that our children can play to get scholarships. My thing in the back of my head has always been that if I can find me somebody to do lacrosse for the brothers, I'm gonna do some lacrosse. I mean, come on, there's other sports and scholarships that these kids can get. And with volleyball, Terry and Rob, I didn't know volleyball was that big. It's huge. And I mean, they have the Nationals coming to Orlando, and we're playing in the Nationals.
I know it's big out in California.
Yeah. It's big all over. And we're playing in the Nationals in June.
Oh, wow.
And that's Shannon Hart is I'm not saying it because she's my wife. I know her.
And that's in the Rosemont area, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's pulling girls from there. And now there's other volleyball clubs are looking at her and the parents are like, hey, I want my child to come over there with you. Because they get down with those girls.
Well, you know what? Because I realized, and I told you about Doc. He's the executive producer, but he won't close the show because Doc will get us wound up.
You got 6 minutes.
There you go.
But I will say this: when it comes to Black media, Orlando needs this more.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need Black media. There are people who have Black media. Ty Christian was one of the first ones. Along with Willie Clark. Willie Clark has
That's
a show.
The name I was.
Yeah. Willie Clark, the Willie Clark show. Willie worked hard in this community for Black media. I'm gonna tell you, Blood really worked hard.
Before you go there, because this is the other thing I want to close out with before we finish there. Your wife, running for office. The one question I did not ask her when we were doing this interview is her amenability to working across the aisle. When you see that you're in a red state, you see the pain in your community. That's the one question that I did not ask.
She can
her.
work it.
And by you being her better half, you can answer that question.
She can work it. She can work it.
That's what I want to hear. I want
to
hear
work
somebody
it.
who is not pushing back.
She is not gonna get in the chamber and roll around on the floor.
No, she's not.
Okay.
She's gonna fight for the community.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to hear.
and she's gonna do it with dignity and class.
Yes.
I told you who her
Yes.
mama is.
So, yeah, you
Yeah.
told but you told me who her mother is, but then you
Her
know we
brother.
had we had to pull it out of her the
Yeah.
other day. And for those of you who are watching this show and are wondering, Shannon Curry and all these attachments that we're talking about, her brother up until last year
Hmm.
was the only defensive player,
Black
defensive player in the history
that won the Heisman.
to win the Heisman Trophy.
That's right.
Mhm.
Up until Travis Hunter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so, man,
And they friends.
some good lineage though.
Yeah.
I mean, so Steve, man, we want to thank you, man, for joining us on Let's Talk Nation. And you know what? That door is always open. Yeah, we're looking forward to you being back, and we're gonna have some off-camera discussion a little bit later because you're bringing some things to the table.
Okay.
Doc, man, let you get some words in, man. To, let the audience know what your thoughts are this evening.
Well, the thing, I'm big on solutions too. I don't want to ever walk away from a conversation and say, I'm just complaining.
Uh-huh.
There are answers out there. One of the things that I would tell our community, we've got to get on top of AI. We've got to teach this because it is a liberation. It can free so many people from having to work for others and do things for others. And those jobs, those service jobs and all that stuff is going away. Quick,
Well,
fast, and in a hurry.
That's where the talk show can come in and sponsor our night, bring the community, rent a venue,
Mhm.
educate them.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Well, you know what? If you're interested in your business being broadcast on Let's Talk Nation, if you're interested in coming in and subscribing to the Let's Talk Nation studio, please reach out to us. That phone number is 407-921-6195. I almost forgot that number that quick, Doc. But also, hopefully, we may have an additional expert who knows about this business far beyond what I know. Equal, if not matched by what Doc Polite knows, and I'm talking about none other than Steve January, because you said something that was critical 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks later, not only have we fixed it, but I walked into the studio and Doc is in the studio making sure that it's working right. And Steve, man, I just want to say thank you for joining us in the studio this
God
evening.
bless you.
Armando, you've been, like I said, you've been with us since day one, and Armando is the one you never see on the big screen making us look good. But Steve, I want you to have the last words, man. What do you want to say? And you can include whatever it is you want, brother, because this is your time.
Only thing I can say to the community is let's come together, stop talking, let's start making some moves, and let's start really understanding our culture. Education is the key for the Black community.
Yep. I
And
agree.
that's what we need to do, is educate our people more. They're trying to take everything out of the school, all our history. And what these young Black kids need to understand is that when you research your Black history, it will change your mindset about what you're doing now.
Mhm.
Well, for those of you who are still tuned in, you joined Let's Talk Nation, and tonight we hope that we drop some things on you that, as Attorney Greg Jackson would say, increase that IQ, Doc,
2,000%.
2,000%. But once again, thank you for joining Let's Talk Nation. Tune in next week, same place, same time. Doc Polite, you don't have to go home.
But you got to get out of here.
Till next week on Let's Talk Nation. See you there.